Bitcoin is not an investment. Bitcoin is not a gamble. Bitcoin is not a get rich scheme. Bitcoin is a savings technology. It's your statement telling the world, you don't control me. You don't own me. I am free. I live on my terms. And as long as I'm following legitimate rules, you have nothing on me. That's why they call it you money. But in order to take advantage of that, you have to learn how to own it, right? Bitcoin's revolution is the whole premise of self-custody. But if you're going to leave your Bitcoin with an institution or engage an institution to help you protect it because you think it's safer or more convenient or whatever, concoction you come up with, that lesson is going to come and bite you in the ass at some point, right? So lots to unpack here, but Bitcoin is really, it's a transformational journey. It transforms you as a human being, both morally, ethically, spiritually, certainly financially. But it just really changes your lens on the world. That rabbit hole is full of, oh my gosh, what the hell have I been doing all these years? Completely asleep at the wheel like a complete moron. That is what Bitcoin does to you once you spend enough time studying it, because it just uncovers so many truths about so many things that it upgrades you as a human being.
Do you think that, and there's no such thing as perfection in life, but I mean, do you think that Bitcoin is the perfect investment or the perfect money for your wealth and freedom? Because like you self-custody is what you guys do. And that's, to me, that was one of the ahas of a few years ago, or whatever it was, 5-6 years ago. I guess actually a little longer than that. Time flies. And you just said that self-custody is, you don't own anything. And that was one of my big ahas that Orange Pilled me. You don't own, your property. You got to pay property taxes on it. Your stocks, someone else holds the stock. You go on and on and on. There's always a counterparty to this, and so gold and silver, obviously, it's a bearer asset. However, there's an inflation rate. You can't move it over space. So Bitcoin is the first time that we have that, and self custody is truly that revolution. I would love for you to kind of unpack your thoughts on this and on self-custody and what really sets apart Bitcoin and self-custody versus really every other asset, every other money we've ever known. Because and this kind of knocks down probably a handful of the objections people have with Bitcoin itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once you understand money to begin with, and you realize, that the money in the bank is not yours, and that third-party custodians cannot be trusted because, they dictate the rules and you have no choice but to follow, right? So the money, the fiat money initially is not your product. It is the product of those who created the bank, the central banks, governments, and all, that fiat cartel. That's their product. So you have to play by their rules. Right? And those rules are not in your favor. They're in their favor. Bitcoin was sound money created to exist outside that system. It was essentially created to replace the fiat system by real money that cannot be co-opted, corrupted, manipulated, regulated, printed by, to infinity by anyone, irrespective of how much of it that you own, right? But the key to benefiting from this is owning it. Again, owning money, it's not like putting it in your pocket, like we've been led to believe, for all of these years. Owning money, meaning fully owning, the private keys that control that money, meaning like nobody can threaten to take it away from you. Nobody can shut down your account. You don't need to ask anybody's permission to send, money from one person to another, irrespective of the amount involved. You don't need to tell people what you're doing, how much money you're sending. All your privacy is yours. You decide if you want to share that information. All of that is only possible when you own the bearer asset, Bitcoin and self-custody. So there's a lot of institutions now coming into this because unfortunately they understand what we understand of Bitcoin and all of its benefits. And they realize that this at some point will become the global reserve. In my head, I am 100% convinced of it, because it's the only thing that every single government is going to agree on. None of these guys trust each other, right? So they're not going to decide to use something that they know someone else may have an advantage over. Neutral money, same rules for everyone, irrespective of how much you own. But again, you need to own it. So when the banks and institutions come into Bitcoin, they're allowed to custody. A lot of people, unfortunately, are going to get suckered by this, because, it's just a progression of things. Okay, we had money in the bank. Now we have Bitcoin in the bank. That's just how it is. It's like different form of money. They don't understand that, first of all, you're leaving worthless paper for actual money. And they don't understand that if it's still with somebody under somebody else's control, it's not yours. Your name may be on the account, but if that institution doesn't like you for whatever reason, or you don't obey whatever narrative they spit out at you, or whatever emergency crisis they create one day, well then, click, there goes your Bitcoin, right? So a lot of these services are marketed to take advantage of the ignorance and fears of individuals. It keeps people doubting themselves. What do you want to break your head for? Learn self-custody. You don't have a computer background. You're too much of an idiot. It's not for you. Let us do it. We won't charge you much. Your money is safe with us. That's the message, right? And so that is the lie that I'm hoping more people are going to start ignoring, because one, no one's too stupid to learn the rules around self-custody. It's not rocket science. And two, the amount of power and control that Bitcoin in self-custody gives you over your life is an indescribable feeling that, once experienced, no force in the universe will make you give it up. When you sign up with a custodian that still has a foot in the fiat world, they have to KYC you, because it's not their rules. They have to play by these rules. Right. So all your info is with them. Problem number one, are you sure that information is well protected? You have no idea, right? You assume that because it's a reputable company or a reputable person, that your data is safe, but you have no guarantees. Cybersecurity is not easy, right? Like, doing it the way it's intended. First of all, you need extremely sharp people, and these people are not cheap. You're not going to hire them for, $15 an hour. So that requires a high budget and an ongoing one to stay on top of things, because like every technology, things evolve, right? Threat models come out of nowhere at some point. And now you have AI playing on both sides, the side of good, but also the side of bad. So twice the attention needs to be put on these things. You have no control over this. So if that data gets leaked, and it's been leaked many times, if you just read the news, many companies, all of a sudden millions and millions of records all over the place. But this is different. This is not just regular data. This is data about folks holding the world's most valuable asset. Today it's worth whatever, 82,000 for the time of this recording. But one day it's going to be worth hundreds of millions, maybe billions of dollars, in fiat denominations. That makes it a lot sexier all of a sudden, right? So if that database gets leaked and your name is on it, well, now you have a problem potentially, because whoever stole it or hacked it or whatever that may be is no clown. They know exactly what they're doing and why. And so if they happen to be in your vicinity, well, you may get like a visit at some point. Now you have to deal with it. That's one. There's a lot of other services too that give you the whole custody. Like, for example, we hear about this collaborative custody. I don't like it or recommend it at all, because the intentions may be nice, but the practical risks about this are too high for my liking, especially knowing where I came from, seeing what I've seen in the legacy system. You take zero risks. You trust absolutely no one, because no one can be trusted. And under the right circumstances, anybody can be corrupted and will turn against you to save their own ass. That is a fact. It's not, it just happens here or there. This is human nature. So you need to look out for yourself. And the only person you can genuinely trust is yourself. Who else are you going to trust? You're going to trust some stranger in a company? Of course not. But you have to trust in your ability to trust yourself. And that comes with knowledge and education. Again, it's not rocket science. You just have to open your mind and understand that we are living in a new era now. Things are different. And this is the way the world is headed. So you can either go left and take control over it and preserve your freedom, or you can go right and continue to live a life dictated by the whims of others.
Do you think that the USA is going to, and BRICS even, so the BRICS and the USA, what's happening here with Saylor and Donald Trump and Elon and David Sachs, do you think these guys are looking at it, and Howard Lutnick too, for that matter, and Besant, are they trying to rebase the dollar off of Bitcoin or even some gold and silver, like just hard assets? Like, what do you see going forward when it comes to this geopolitical, like, cat and mouse that seems to be really starting right now?
If you want the answer to that question right there and you like that spicy clip, check it out here. Come on, we'll see you in there. But if you want the full interview in its entirety, all the spicy clips put together, and you're not going to want to miss it, believe me, then check that out here. Come on, we'll see you in there. Do it.